What happens to Los Angeles real estate prices during periods of turmoil, like the protests we just had here in Los Angeles, or earthquakes, for example, natural disasters? The result is surprising. So whether you're buying a home, selling, or just interested in what the data shows, I think you'll want to hear this because it's revealing. I'm Tom Levine, native Angelino real estate. I'm a local. I grew up here. This is my hometown. So 2 weeks ago, during the ICE protest in downtown LA, I decided to investigate. I've wondered what the experts are saying. What does the research say? I lived through the Rodney King riots, the BLM marches, the 1994 Northridge earthquake, and now downtown LA 2025. I have my own opinions based on intuition and working on Wall Street for more than 20 years, buying and selling stocks and bonds for investors, but I wanted to look a bit deeper. So here's what I learned. What we won't talk about here are the deeper societal questions of right and wrong, wealth accumulation, home ownership rates, race, moral issues. All of these things are very important, but we'll save those for a longer, deeper discussion. Today, I simply want to look at prices of homes after these traumatic events. What I did was I reviewed a series of relevant academic studies and expert studies that I'll link below so you can check out yourself if you like. Really, the question we're asking is, how do protests and other disasters impact urban living? It makes sense to look at the framework through the lens of both very short, meaning immediate, and longer term. Imagine how we felt during Rodney King, or even a few weeks ago, right? Troops in the streets, fear, anxiety about what's next. Are we safe? What about the schools and the businesses? What's going to happen? Same thing after an earthquake. Again, fear, displacement, the unknown. So one's first reaction, and the reasons prices tend to go down, is it's human nature, right? I see it in stock prices or any marketplace. Fear creates uncertainty. Uncertainty is tough to price. Buyers go on strike. So if you need to sell, prices tend to go down. It's just logic and human nature. In housing, urban living, it's a little more complicated. Safety comes first. For those who live in the communities, it's in their face. For the investors, not quite as front and center. So therefore, in broad terms, housing prices do go down in the short run. But over time, that doesn't hold true in almost every case. What we find is that in almost all cases, the larger societal issues override the short-term event. So think about it. And let's take COVID. It's a little bit different. It's a shock that hit the city and it lasted a very long time, but it didn't just hit the city. So it's not quite a perfect parallel, but let's just stick with it for a minute. For those who were able to leave or had the desire to leave, they did so. That means renters or homeowners that had the flexibility to go elsewhere, they picked up and left for a period of time, if not forever. This is an important point and borne out by the numbers. Rental rates in Los Angeles fell and really are just now recovering. So let's focus on mobility. Housing prices dropped as well if one sold immediately. Think about it, panic. But many people who stayed home, didn't move, it didn't affect them in the short run. I'm talking about the value of their real estate. The crisis ended and both rents and sale prices stabilized and moved up again. I'm simplifying it, but that's the bottom line. The same dynamic happens after each of the crises we talked about. Rodney King, BLM, fires, all of this. This is where bigger forces come into play. If a neighborhood is deemed less desirable after an event, say due to a fire, or businesses move away after that and don't return, this is structural change. Think about the industrial cities of the Midwest. Businesses went bankrupt, they left, the jobs left, police and fire service disappeared. The standard of living deteriorated, not as safe to be there. Quality of life fell and prices fell. So it makes you wonder what's happened in Pacific Palisades. Terrible disaster, but lots of larger forces suggest that over time, prices will go up, might even go higher. Let's talk South Central. And what I don't want to do is compare equity and why one neighborhood benefits more than another. I just want to draw out an example for you, though. If you think about South Central after Rodney King and earthquake and BLM and all the significant events, what has happened? USC expanded. Downtown LA actually was revitalized versus where it was, say, 25 years ago. And Los Angeles has grown, population-wise I'm talking about. Light rail has come in, subways have come in. So there are jobs. They may not be the same jobs that you get on the West Side, but there are jobs. So over time, prices have gone up. Again, I'm not comparing one neighborhood versus another or equity or any of this. All I'm trying to point out is that the bigger societal issues are what come into play. I mention this because this is where government policy and the business climate and schools and all these longer term issues will overtake the impact of the short term shock. Again, I'm going to link to the articles and the studies below, but let me give you some of the conclusions, and I'll read it not quite verbatim, but I'll give you the flavor. The total magnitude and the length of both the COVID-19 pandemic and the urban protests are at the time of this writing yet unknown. Yet the past can nevertheless provide a sliver of hope for the future. The evidence and the literature presented in this chapter suggests that over the span of 4 decades, metropolitan areas are remarkably resilient to shocks. And this is the important point. Fundamentals rather than short-term shocks drive long-term population trends. So the bigger factors. Goes on to say, if you have a metropolitan area that it's diverse in many aspects, it can survive the short-term shocks. And that really is the most important point. Right? The bigger policy issues, government, schools, all of this, yes, key role. But the strength of the city itself, the fabric of the city, is what allows a neighborhood, a city, to get through the short-term turmoil, the ups and the downs. So Los Angeles is my hometown, right? Native Angelo real estate. I've lived and worked in San Francisco, New York, Marin County, London, and I've gained perspective. Yet I know Los Angeles. I've got a view on trends, up-and-coming neighborhoods, others that may be in decline, or those that are fully valued. So if you're seeking advice, I can act as consultant. If you're a first-time buyer or current homeowner and you're thinking about selling, I can act as agent. I'm the broker, as a matter of fact. So again, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you getting this far through the video. I'd appreciate your thoughts and comments, particularly if you take a few minutes to read the attached articles. I'd appreciate talking about it.